Responding to even more of your assumptions, the third part of the trilogy, 2020 Quarantine Edition. I'm Chris, this is Yellow Productions. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, entertaining. This video, it's a live stream. If you're on the live stream, I'm looking forward to hanging out with y'all for about the next 45 minutes, answering your questions, reading your comments. If you're watching the archive, we'll make sure to subscribe, click the bell to turn on notifications so that you get notified of future live streams that I do. I'll be doing one more this week, tomorrow on Thursday, talking all about behind the scenes about how I live stream, because that's a question I've gotten quite a bit as more people are social distancing themselves, teleworking in quarantine. More people are really interested in live streaming, and so tomorrow I'm going to show you the software aspect of how I live stream. I have a separate video that's all about like the gear that I use, but tomorrow is going to be a deep dive on the software that I use to make this all happen so that we can all hang out together. And so let's go ahead and start with assumption number, we are on number 24, because this is where I left off in part 2. By the way, if you've not seen part 1 and part 2, you will find a link in the description to part 2. And after you watch that one, if you want to watch part 1, well, you'll find a link in the description of part 2 to part 1. All right, and if I click the right buttons, then I will see some comments, which indeed I do. So Jim asks if this is my office, and you could say that. This is where I edit the videos, and so I figured for some of these informal chats, that's where I would do some of these things. So right here, this is usually where I'm editing videos. I've got 2 monitors, printers right over there. So yeah, that's what this is. All right, so the first assumption from FeeMode85, she assumes that you are accustomed to people recognizing you from your YouTube channel and them approaching you. Accustomed is probably not the right word. It happens, and actually I'm touched every time it does. I think it's really neat when people recognize me in real life. The first time somebody recognized us from YouTube was when we were in Nara, Japan, and we were making our video titled Feeding the Deer in Nara, Japan, and somebody comes up to us. By the way, Osigirl and I, we are dressed in kimonos, and somebody comes up to us and goes, "Oh my gosh, Chris, it's me, it's Joey. It's Joey from the Philippines. I watched your video on Singapore when I went to Singapore. It's so great to meet you, and I love it. So if you see me, definitely come by and say hey. Anybody who spots me in real life, I always hand them one of my Yellow Productions business cards, just so that people can have a token of the meeting. WYO42, WYO, I don't know how you pronounce that, Woe42, assumes I like to visit Japan. Indeed, I do. Japan is probably our favorite country to travel to. We go there probably once every 2 years, and it's definitely the video that has a set of videos that I have the most videos per on one single country. I have over 100 videos in our Japan series. Raylene K says, I assume you don't get too shy or embarrassed to film. That assumption's probably not correct. I mean, as I've done this more, I'm becoming less shy or embarrassed, but there can be times when there's just too much of a crowd and I'm like, I need to wait till people pass by. I did a video all about 10 tips to like help you shoot in public or get over that fear. And like one of the tips that I have is not to shoot for too long. Even me, if I'm shooting video for a long time and people start to collect and watch, then I do get nervous, because then I'm like, I start thinking about them as opposed to thinking about what I want to say. And so when I'm out in public in one spot, I don't shoot one scene for too long because I don't want to draw too much of a crowd. Though I do realize when people come up to watch, it's often because it's admiration as opposed to like gawking or something like that. And Daniel points out that previous assumption that WYO was short for Wyoming. All right, well, thank you very much, Daniel, for that. Village Idiot assume on the live stream. Now, live stream comments are all on the bottom here, and these ones up here, these are ones that were all pre-submitted. Village Idiot assumes that I will have more family-oriented videos now that you have a traveling princess. I believe we will. Not to say that my videos were not family-friendly before. I like to consider them family-friendly, but we will definitely have videos about like what to do in Las Vegas when you're traveling with kids, as an example. Kirk asks if I own a gun. I do not own a gun. And if you want to know if I've ever shot a gun, I have shot a gun once, and it was a shotgun at a skeet shooting range. ASMR Cousins asked if we'll bring our daughter to Disney, and do I think she will like it? I think she will. We'll definitely take her to Disneyland once she's old enough to actually ride on some rides. Kirk asked, when are you having your next child? We got to get over this one first. I think right now we're good with the one that we have. Su Yun says, Princess is sleeping. She is sleeping. She is sleeping. She's fed, her diaper's changed, so she is pretty happy. Yoshi asks, how is the family of Tovers? The family of Tovers, they're all doing pretty good. Most of them, at least the ones that are down here in the office, are hanging out right there. So they're chilling. They're enjoying the day today. If you've been watching the live streams for the last couple of days, because I've got a window right here, this reflects the quality of the sunlight coming in. The previous live streams were a bit more gray because it's been rainy here in Southern California and gray, but today it's actually nice and sunny, so we get a nice sunny quality of the light coming in here. Jim asked, what's my favorite city in Japan? I always enjoy going to Tokyo as a big city, a small city. I really like Nara that I talked about for feeding the deer. Fallout fan says he's late, but he's here. I'm glad you made it, Fallout fan. By the way, I've made the comment box a little smaller now, so it doesn't take up as much of the screen, those of you who've been watching this whole series. Kirk asks if I'd rather be a rich man in Thailand or a middle-class person in Hawaii. I think I'd rather be a middle-class person in Hawaii. I enjoy Hawaii. It's a nice place. I love the beaches. I know Thailand to live in is just a little too chaotic and not peaceful enough for me. Let's see. Spun asks, are there any plans for a Hokkaido tour in the near future? We did Hokkaido, was it 8 years ago? Something like that. So we did like Sapporo, and we did a few other things, Tomamu. If you search for Sapporo Yellow Productions, you'll find it. If you can't, send me a message on Facebook, and I'll send you a link to all of our Hokkaido videos. And Matt says, greetings from the UK, Chris. First time I've managed to stay up enough to catch one of your live streams. Thanks for tuning in, Matt. I appreciate everybody who's on, and this is their first time on one of the live streams. All right. Vinny wants to know if it's safe to go on a road trip from New Jersey to San Diego and Vegas end of September. It depends what you mean by safe. Like, will you get mugged or will there be bandits? I think certainly driving is safe. As safe as driving is, driving's never safe, right? Because there's always car accidents. But if I had a crystal ball right now, I would probably say September sounds reasonable, as much as anybody can predict how we're going to do with this old COVID-19 thing. All right, let's go back to some more of the assumptions that were sent in. This guy 9 assumes that yellow is my favorite color. That is a very excellent assumption. It didn't used to be my favorite color. My favorite color before I was 16 was red, and yellow became my favorite color once I painted my car yellow. Grant says, Chris, given your love of a variety of cultural cuisines, would I be correct in assuming that you normally eat all of the food on my plate? I do not always eat all the food on my plate. Actually, OC Girl and I kind of joke about that sometimes. She grew up being taught to eat all the food on your plate. I, on the other hand, kind of grew up saying, well, eat till you're full, and when you're full, you don't need to eat anymore. And actually, that was something, and maybe when I took an epiphany about that, about when I'm full, I can stop eating, that's a time when I lost some weight. So My peak weight in college was 220 pounds. Now I weigh approximately 190, 195. My lowest in adult age was 180. And that was A, I said I don't have to eat everything on my plate. B, I started doing more exercise. I started bicycle riding regularly. I took up surfing and Dance Dance Revolution, all while eating In-N-Out Burger like 3 times a week. So anybody who says In-N-Out Burger will make you fat, and maybe 190 isn't like skinny, but you can actually lose weight and consider In-N-Out Burger a diet plan. That's what I consider it. So that answers Jim's question of if I'm a surfer. I like to surf poorly. I bodyboard more than surf. Because I pulled my rotator cuff in a surfing injury at one point, so I do not surf as much anymore, mostly on boogie boards. Kirk's got lots of questions. Kirk says, have you ever fallen for a spam email or phishing email? I don't think I have. Unless it was a really good one and then I didn't know it was spam or phishing. Michelle asks if I've ever been to the Virgin Islands. We have never been to the Virgin Islands. Kid Blue asks, how's the little one? Our little explorer is doing quite well today. Thank you for asking. The High Road asks if we have a split-level house or ranch. We have a 2-story house. Cherry says, our little explorer looks older than 3 months. Is she high on the growth chart? She is turning 4 months in just a few days, but maybe just how we have her on the camera. But yes, I guess she is big for 3 months since she's been almost 4 months. ASMR Cousins wants to know how he can get merch and how much is it. That is a great question, ASMR Cousins. With every live stream, I always give away one of the Yellow Productions crew t-shirts, and today will be no exception. Every live stream, I give away one. You have to answer a question correctly. And how do you get the merch? Well, there is a link in the description of this video and most of the live streams to my Etsy shop, where I've got these shirts, I've got stickers, I've got baby onesies if you want a baby onesie. So I got a lot of those things. They are about $20, give or take, plus or minus shipping. That probably makes it a little more, something like that. Jake asks if I try to exercise regularly when I travel. It depends what you mean when you say exercise, but I'm going to answer that and say yes. But I like travel exercise, I consider walking. Like, I'm a walker and I love to walk, and I love to walk long ways. We walk a ton when we travel. I don't really hit the gym. The only time I hit the gym is if we're in some place and it's like super bad weather and we can't get out to walk, and in that case, then I will use the gym. Okay. Caro Trejos submitted a assumption ahead of time that said, I assume you traveled a lot with your parents as a child and that woke up your travel bug in you. Probably not a lot as a child. As a child, we went to the Czech Republic. My mom's from the Czech Republic, so I'm half Czech. We went to Mexico. We went to Las Vegas. We went to London once. Czech Republic, I think we did about 3 times. That basically encapsulates most of the travel that I did before starting to work. Starting to work with my job, I ended up traveling a bunch of places, and then meeting OC Girl. She loves to travel, so we traveled a lot more places, and so I would say it is OC Girl that woke up the travel bug in me. Alex Katz Official wants to know, what's my favorite attraction in Singapore? Maybe just an iconic building. I like the Marina Bay Sands. I think it's cool. But attraction-wise, I like the Garden by the Bay, in particular the Cloud Forest Dome. Poi to Mac assumes that I do research on things to do, see, and eat for months before your trip. Assuming it is a trip that we have planned months ahead, then we absolutely do for our Fukushima trip recently. I think we started planning that food attractions, all that, about 3 months before we went. And we like to have, when we go someplace, it's all planned out, like this day, this address, this place, how we get to this place. If you've not seen my video on planning for travel, I've got a whole live stream talking all about our process for planning for travel. Kirk asks, would you consider going to the Aulani Hotel and paying $700 a night now that you have a child? I did, and boy, I feel ripped off. That sounds like a lot of money. I think for that kind of money, I'd rather almost stay at the Four Seasons next door or the Marriott Vacation Club. I like Ko'olina, but $700 a night for the Aulani seems really expensive. Jason was going to assume that I never surfed before. Boy, was he wrong. Yeah, the funny part about that, I am born and raised in San Diego, California. And for those who don't know their geography, San Diego, California is like the most southwestern point of the continental U.S., right along the coast. And I grew up to the age of maybe 20 without having surfed. And when I was going to San Diego State University, I would ask a lot of people who I met who went there, who were like international students. I'm like, why'd you decide to come to San Diego State University? And universally, they were like, we decided to come here to surf. San Diego State actually has surfing classes that you can take for credit, and that was how I started surfing, taking one of the surfing classes at San Diego State University. But I love getting in the water. I love getting in the ocean. I love the peacefulness of it. But I don't love the cold water in San Diego. I mean, it's not as cold here as some other places. I love the warm water in Hawaii, but I don't like the coral bottoms in Hawaii. David asked if I could use my In-N-Out contacts to make them open one in the UK, preferably within walking distance of my house. I will get right on that for you, David. No promises. Melanie says, per Chris's recommendation, I'm starting the In-N-Out burger diet. Go for it, Melanie. Let's see. Brian says, I assume you're in and out 3 times a week and the staff are on a first name basis with me. Not anymore. There was an In-N-Out that I used to go to like really frequently when I was in college. And that one, actually, I was on a first name basis with the staff. I like so much so that they would give me In-N-Out Burger Christmas cards every year. In-N-Out Burger makes Christmas cards, and they would give me a Christmas card from In-N-Out Burger. Now I'm kind of go to a lot of different In-N-Out Burgers, and so I don't think they know me quite as well. Though a lot of the ones that I go to, they do remember my order because it's so unique. I'll walk up and they'll be like, hold on, double, no onions, extra everything. Yeah, fries and a drink. That's it. Jim asks if use credit card points to fund our trips. Absolutely. I recommend one of the Chase cards that earns Ultimate Rewards points. I have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, but the Chase Sapphire Preferred is pretty good too. Those are my top 2 recommendations. Kid Blue says he likes the fireside chat background. Thank you, Kid Blue. Although I know when I have these comments up, it covers that up. So we'll go back to the pre-submitted assumptions. Shelley says, I assume that you are a graduate of the George Takei School of Enunciation and that you clearly graduated at the top of your class. I am not sure what the George Takei School of Pronunciation is, but George Takai is how many people pronounce it. George Takai, right? So there's 2 ways of pronouncing it, but he pronounces it Takei. I hope I'm right when I say that. Ricky wants to know, how is my Czech language skills? What's the correct term for their language? The correct term for their language is Czech. I can say ahoy. I can say ručičku for wrist. I can talk about food. They really like dumplings, which is knedlíky. And I can tell you my favorite Czech food is svíčková, which is like some beef with some sauce and also dumplings. It's really good. I am definitely not fluent in Czech, but ahoy is hello in Czech. So that's the one. That's the one you can use. Yoshi wants to know if I have a DJI Osmo Pocket. I do have a DJI Osmo Pocket. Let's see. Kathy gives a frowny face and said they were supposed to be at the Aulani this Saturday. Frowny face, Kathy. Well, I hope you get to go back again. Allie asks if I sell pandas. I sell no pandas, but I do sell the shirts that have the panda crew on them. Fallout fan assumes that when I went to San Diego State, I did not join a fraternity because he doesn't think I'm a party hard kind of guy. I am not a party hard kind of guy, and I did not join any fraternities. I didn't go to really any exciting parties. Jennifer asks, how do I stay slim eating in and out? How often do you exercise? I like to walk. I exercise quite a bit. I like to ride a bike. I go for a couple rides a week of at least 10 miles. Previously, I like to really play that Japanese dancing game, Dance Dance Revolution. Vinny says, do you think more people will drive to their vacations than fly due to the pandemic when things get back to normal? I think so. I think we'll see more domestic tourism just in general in countries. So, yeah, because people won't want to get stranded by flights. David asks if I ever flew the Air New Zealand London Heathrow LAX route. Sad, it's now gone. I have never flown that one. Can't say I have. I have flown LAX to London Heathrow before, but not on Air New Zealand. What? Okay, so those were all the pre-submitted comments that came in on Instagram. Now let's go to the pre-submitted assumptions that were on Facebook. And by the way, if you don't follow me on any of those other social media channels and you want to see pictures, things like that I post over there on Facebook or Instagram, you can find the links in my description if you use those social platforms. All right, so the first assumption that came in on Facebook, Keith Jill assumes and says, I think your wife traveled a lot, so that made you connect together. Probably, like, she did travel more than I did before we met. I don't think it was the fact that she traveled a lot that we connected, but it's definitely her passion for travel that spilled over into my newfound passion for travel. And together, our passion for travel. I don't know why I'm suddenly talking so slow. We were talking about George Takei from Star Trek. Maybe I'm practicing my William Shatner impersonation of the dramatic school of pausing. That's right. What would I do if not for YouTube, travel, and computers? Gee, I don't know what I would do. Maybe I would work in and out burger. That's hard to say. Since my major is computer science, my whole life kind of revolves around computers in some way. Like if I couldn't travel or have YouTube, maybe I'd be like a farmer or something. I'm not really sure. All right. Cherry says, I should video me doing Dance Dance Revolution. I would love to see it. Well, you know what? There's actually a couple of videos of me online doing Dance Dance Revolution. If you search for Yellow Productions Dance Dance Revolution, you will find it. So check that out. And I don't know if I have one still in my set of videos that I have on here. No, I don't have it on. I don't have it on the live streaming system right now. All right. Electric Rick asks if I see a Yellow Productions mask in your future. You know, custom masks are hard to find. However, I did find a place that you can get like neck gaiters that almost look like masks that are yellow and have and I actually ordered one that has the Yellow Productions logo on it. So we'll see. I just ordered that yesterday, so we'll see what that looks like when it shows up. Let's see. Brian says, have you been to Universal Studios Singapore? I've not been to Universal Studios Singapore. The original Universal Studios is here in California that we've been to a few times. I've got a video on Universal Studios Hollywood if you want to check that out. The original, which has the studio tour. So we've really felt no reason to go there. In Singapore. Well, we should spend time in Singapore eating. Allie wants to know if I play Animal Crossing. I have never played Animal Crossing. Beth says, I asked this question before, the question of assumptions, and she's never seen any answers. I responded to Beth on Facebook, but I just want to say, if you didn't see my video in 2019, I did an assumptions video in 2019. Actually, I did a two-part series. This one's a trilogy, but it was somebody last week on the live stream that said, hey, Chris, you should do a 2020 update. So, Beth, I hope you found those videos. Kid Blue Creations asks if I wear yellow in my off hours or only for YouTube. It it depends. Like sometimes I wear yellow in my off hours. I have a lot of yellow clothing, but in particular when I do YouTube, I do always wear yellow. And I didn't starting this channel, but my brother-in-law said, "Hey Chris, you should wear some yellow shirts." And he was the one that actually made the first set of yellow production shirts that I started wearing, and I wore them fairly frequently. And then there'd be some videos that I wouldn't wear the yellow shirts. People would be like, "Where's the yellow shirt?" And so now when we travel, I only pack yellow shirts. Kirk wants to know what's my favorite fried chicken place. As a chain, my favorite fried chicken place is Popeyes. We really love the spicy chicken sandwich at Popeyes. Probably my favorite, individual fried chicken place. I don't remember the name of it, but it's in Las Vegas. It's in the Cosmopolitan Hotel. There's a food court that's maybe on level 3 or something like that, and I really like it there. By the way, if you notice the lighting in this room change, it's because the sun comes out from behind the clouds and goes in the clouds, and right now it's sunny, so the room just got brighter. Kathy asks, would I recommend better Tokyo Skytree or Tokyo Tower? We are planning our trip to Tokyo next year. Between the two, I would recommend Tokyo Skytree. It's just a really neat attraction. Another observatory you should consider is the Shibuya Scramble. It is right in Shibuya, right next to Shibuya Crossing. There's a really neat observatory up there that you can feel like you're in the middle of Tokyo. If you follow my Instagram, that's one that I posted where there's this escalator that looks, it's an outdoor escalator on the 50th floor of this building. It's pretty amazing. Kirk asks if I would go to Monterey Park in the current climate with the coronavirus. For those of you who don't know, Monterey Park in the Los Angeles area is the hub of the Asian community here. And right now, we're not going much of anywhere. We stay pretty close to home. Once things get good again, actually, I feel like the Asian community is often more paranoid about this, and they wear more masks and more gloves. Would I go to a restaurant that has a letter B, C, or D grade on it? Absolutely not. But I think there's plenty of people that are taking it pretty seriously. There's plenty of places that aren't, too. Brian asks if I do a separate load of laundry just for my yellows. I do laundry in coloreds and whites, and so the yellows go with everything that's colored. The High Road asks Marvel or DC? Marvel. Kirk asks if I've ever been to the Olympics. No. Lee asks, he says he's going to Key West in August. Any travel videos? I have 2 videos on Key West. It's some of my earliest videos, so if the work is poor, please spare me. But I do have a Key West travel guide, and then I have a second video about the street performers in Key West. My number 1 recommendation is to visit Mallory Square at sunset. There's a lot of street performers there, and if you see the Cat Man there, definitely watch his performance. He's this French guy that has all these cats that he trains to do a whole bunch of crazy tricks. Jim asks he says he's going to Tokyo for 5 days. Is Disney Sea worth checking it out? Kathy says Disney Sea is definitely on her Tokyo list, and I would say yes, Disney Sea is our favorite Disney theme park. I think it's worth checking it out. If you haven't seen it, you can check out my video all about Disney Sea. Just search for Yellow Productions Disney Sea. Christian says, thanks for all the videos. You seem like a very decent person. Thank you, Christian. You are too, for giving some compliments to kind of a stranger. And he says, what's your favorite Vegas steakhouse? My favorite steakhouse in Vegas is Maestro's. I think it's called Maestro's Ocean Club. It's in the Crystal Shops in front of the City Center Mall. Vic Lau says, Irvine is just like Monterey Park now. I don't know that I would agree with that. I think the Asian restaurants in Irvine are a little cleaner and nicer than the ones in Monterey Park. Just my thoughts. Kirk says, I assume you're going to spend your stimulus checks on more Yellow Productions merchandise. Probably. I think I need more. I need more shirts. I can never have enough Yellow Productions shirts. I'll probably spend my stimulus check sending out yellow shirts to all the people that win them on the live streams. And by the way, there are about 20 folks, 20 of you fellow explorers, that have bought shirts on the Etsy merchandise shop. So for those of you who have, thank you very much for supporting the channel, buying those shirts. And if you wear them out in the world, definitely send me a picture via email, Facebook. I'd love to share it with the rest of the community. Okay, wop. Too far. All right, Dieter says, I assume you don't ride a motorcycle and you have no ink, but you are not risk averse. I think you work in the IT industry or in education or some sort or both. I do not ride a motorcycle. Too risky. I have no ink. Tattoos. I have no tattoos because I go to Japanese hot spring hotels. They don't allow you to have tattoos to go to Japanese hot spring hotels. Risk averse. I'm not a huge risk taker. Like, I don't like bungee jumping or parachuting. Like, I don't like risks for no reason. But you have, I guess everything in life has some risk. Computer science is my background, so that's kind of like IT, more software development and education, maybe like this channel. MT asks if I recommend the Anaheim Packing District. It's near Disneyland. It's a really neat food court. I do MT. I have a video titled The 3 Best Food Halls in Los Angeles. It's my number 3 best food hall in Los Angeles. Check out, it's at the end of the video, so check it out if you want to see my thoughts on the Anaheim Packing House. Well, Keith assumes, actually, there's a question. Just curious, you have mentioned in your videos you are not a drinker and not big into sports. Wondering what other hobbies you have besides travel. You know, like, doing a YouTube channel is definitely a hobby. And at some level, a lot of this becomes an all-encompassing thing about, like, if I'm not working my computer science job, then it's, well, what video am I going to do? I need to edit that video. What camera do I need? What microphone do I need to use? What lights do I need to get? Oh, I should make these titles look different. I should do this. I should put a new question mark in it. It's amazing how long it takes to get a spinning question mark in some live streaming software. So, like, technology really, that's really a big hobby of mine. Ooster Girl and I, we like to bicycle ride. We like to hike. I like to go to the beach. We just like to explore too. We like to eat. Eating, is that a hobby? I'll say it is. Hannah says, I assume you are so excited to be a dad. You smile a lot when talking about the little traveling princess. I think it's pretty neat to be a dad, so thank you. Allie asks, what's my favorite music artist at the second? I've been really into K-pop recently, and I don't know, I think like ever since like Psy came out on the scene, like I discovered K-pop, and I just, like, on YouTube, I'll just play like random K-pop songs, American artists, Green Day. I really like Green Day. Anytime Green Day is on the radio, I'm always turning up Green Day. Non-duality says, if I was an extreme introvert for a week, what kind of vacation would I plan and what would your videos be like? If I was an extreme introvert, I think I would plan a visit to some like national parks in the middle of the country, and I'd have to research ones that have like the least amount of people, and my videos would probably be, you know, much more solo and solitary of me on a hiking trail and admiring the views where there is nobody. April asks, are there any plans to visit Vegas shortly after things start opening up and going back to normal? It'd be neat. Like, you know, I always enjoy Vegas, so. Kid Blue Creations asks if my day job was impacted by COVID-19. Yes, we are doing telework to the maximum extent possible. Scott joined in. Thanks for joining in, Scott. It's great to see you. Grant says, I assume both you and OC Girl enjoy problem solving. I think so. I think we like to enjoy solving problems. We like to assemble IKEA furniture together, so that's kind of like problem solving, right? Kirk asks if I've requested a small business disaster relief loan. I don't like loans. I don't want to get in debt, so no, I haven't. Maybe I need to look more into them because I've heard they're forgivable, so, but I don't like going into debt. Scott says eating is always a great hobby. I'm glad you agree, Scott. I need to figure out, really need to, do some more like mukbangs or something like live stream eating. Maybe I can combine that eating hobby with live streaming somehow. Brian asks how often I meet fellow subscribers in the general public. It depends where we're going and what we're doing. Obviously, since we've been like quarantined at home for the last, a month now or something, it seems like. Even though I think we're only in our third week. I would say in general, maybe once a month. If I go to Las Vegas, it's more like once an hour. If we're in Los Angeles, it's often more frequent too. Carmen says eating is her hobby too, thus my expanding girth. Right on, Carmen. Grant says, you mentioned being an introvert. Is there a reason why you prefer staying at the more crowded resorts over the less crowded vacation condos while visiting Hawaii? I like hotels. What I like in hotels, I like the hotel service in hotels. I like front desks. I like if something's broken in my room, they can come and fix it. I like if my room's broken, they can move me to another room. I like hotel breakfasts. I just like a lot of things about hotels. So that's why we stay in hotels as opposed to vacation condos. Green Day song. Hitching a Ride. I don't know. There's a lot. I got a lot of good Green Day song, and it's one of those where I'm like, I can sing all the tunes to the Green Day songs, but then if you're like, what's the name of that Green Day song? Shay says, have you been to South American countries? No, Mexico is the farthest south we've been on the America's continent. My pleasure, non-duality. Thank you for asking. Ty says, you're a back-end developer, aren't you? I don't know. I did all sorts of development. Now I'm more of the manager type. Larry is late because he just woke up from a 2-hour nap. Well, Larry, that's okay. Thanks for joining in. Chris has just joined in too. Chris says, good day, Chris. Just turned in. I'm at work listening. I'm welding. Good to see you. Take care from Australia. Thank you, Chris. Be safe while you are welding. Electric Rick, who's my dad, put an assumption. He said, I assume you don't have a waffle iron since you eat so many pancakes. If you missed it on a previous live stream, people asked me what I typically have for breakfast, and I said I always for breakfast have 2 pancakes, 1 egg, sunny side up, and a slice of bacon. And I do, in fact, have a waffle iron. I don't like to clean the waffle iron, though, so that's why we almost never use the waffle iron. The griddle skillet is much easier to clean than the waffle iron is. Now, Electric Rick also says, I assume you wish you had a flying car so you could travel more effortlessly. I do wish I had a flying car. That would be a lot of fun. Alex assumes that I have strong spiritual convictions. I would say so. We go to church on Saturdays, actually. Our church is a fairly big church. They're busy on Sundays, so we always do a Saturday evening service. Why? We don't like to get up early in the morning on Sundays. Does that make our spiritual convictions less? Not sure. Tommy assumes that you've never traveled to Antarctica, nor is it high on your bucket list. I've never traveled to Antarctica, neither has OC Girl. It is not high on our bucket list. It seems really cold, and the food there doesn't sound all that great. Troy says you're successful outside of YouTube, which led to all the travel. I like to think so, but what does it mean to be successful? I mean, we got a roof over our head, we can eat, a job that gives me enough vacation to travel, so I think those are a lot of things that are successful, and certainly having all of you here on the live stream today is fantastic as well, so that's great success too. Brian says, I'm a YouTube sensation. What does your wife say about your pop status and all the attention? So I mentioned I'm an introvert. She's an introvert too. So, I think she probably doesn't love when we're recognized out in public. She'd like to just be much more incognito. But having the YouTube channel has opened a lot of cool travel doors for us, and it allows us to shoot and go places that maybe we normally wouldn't. So, and I definitely like to say it's our pop status, because Yellow Productions wouldn't be here without her. So this is the both of us. When people invite us places, say to other countries or places, and say, Chris, I'd like you to come, and I'm like, you realize the channel's 2 of us, right? The camera does not hold itself. And a tripod is not the same, because she also acts what I'll call as the creative director or artistic director, to be like, Chris, didn't you want to say that? Maybe you should point out this. You should talk about that, which is really helpful. Colleen assumes that I love road trips. I don't know. It's like short road trips. We love short road trips, 2 to 3 hours. Longer gets too long. Adele says, I assume that Japan is your favorite travel destination. It is. Laura says, I don't know if you like Harry Potter, but you give me strong Hufflepuff vibes. I apparently don't like Harry Potter enough to even know who Hufflepuff is. Keith says, I assume you have a tiny liking for stuffed pandas. Probably not a tiny liking, probably a big liking for stuffed pandas. Melanie says, I assume you're a really nice guy. I like to think I'm a pretty nice guy. I like to treat others like I would like to be treated. That's just one of those things, at least how I was raised. Barry says, I assume that you do not eat the French fries at In-N-Out Burger. I do eat the French fries at In-N-Out Burger, though I agree that In-N-Out Burger French fries can be hit or miss. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. You have to eat them like right away. If you take them to the drive-thru and you get them to go and you eat them 10 minutes later, they're just not very good. Barry assumes you're a full-time YouTuber. I talked about that in episode 1, but I'm not. Amy assumes I'm an only child. I am an only child. Jan says, I assume you can cook since you know a lot about food. And obviously that's the picture I had in the thumbnail. I can cook breakfast. I cook breakfast every day. I probably can cook, though we don't cook all that often. Now that we've had quarantine time, we've been cooking more. I think the thing I like if I cook, that I like to cook the most is on the outdoor grill, like the barbecue. I like to make steaks, but we like to eat out a lot too, because we like to explore. And if we cook, it seems like we're just making the same things all the time. And cooking for 2 people, it's a lot to cook for 2 people. It's a lot to get the ingredients for just 2. Obviously, now that we have our traveling princess, maybe that'll keep us at home more and cooking more. Jennifer says, I assume you're very organized. I like to think I'm organized. I'm probably not as organized as some are, though. Fiorella says, I assume you love In-N-Out. I do love In-N-Out Burger. I also like Shake Shack, too. If you're a Shake Shack fan, you might recognize the Shake Shack cup. I did not eat at Shake Shack today, but I made some of my homemade Earl Grey iced tea, drinking out of that cup. Ursula assumes I'm a teacher. Nope, not a teacher. Alan says, I assume you're a computer guy. I am definitely a computer guy. Mimo says that I'm someone's sugar daddy. Just kidding. No, OC Girl has a full-time job too, so the only person sugar daddy I am is maybe our traveling princess. And those are all of the assumptions that were sent in ahead of time. So I wanted to make sure I got through all of those today. All right, now it is time to give away some Yellow Productions merchandise. Today, as usual, I'll be giving away a Yellow Productions crew t-shirt. And to answer this question, you have to know, or you have to guess, what particular piece of Yellow Productions merchandise Ricky, who won yesterday, requested. It is one of the items on the Yellow Productions Etsy shop. On the Yellow Productions Etsy shop, there is the Yellow Productions crew t-shirt. There is the Yellow Productions embroidered shirt. There are Yellow Productions stickers. And there is another item on the Yellow Productions shop. What is that other item? Because that's what Ricky requested. If you can tell me what that other item on the Yellow Productions shop is, then you will win Yellow Productions t-shirt shipped anywhere in the world. Or you can win that other item, assuming you know what that other item is. And MT answered that correctly. MT, very good, says that other item is the baby onesie. It is. Very good, MT. You win Yellow Productions shirt or a baby onesie shipped anywhere in the world. Send me a message on Facebook. You'll find a link in the description below to my Facebook page, or send me an email to chris@yellow.net with 2 W's. Let me know what size shirt you want and where you want me to send it. A lot of other people guessed onesie as well, but MT was the first one to guess onesie, so well done. All All right, we're going to take a few more questions here in final bonus question and answer time. Try to get through these rapid fire to get to as many as I can. But if I don't get to your question today, I'll be doing another live stream tomorrow all about how I live stream, showing you vMix, the software that I use, so you can ask your questions tomorrow. I'll have probably more time in that one to do free-form Q&A at the end. MP says, your wife is an excellent director. She is an excellent director. Franco says, how old are you? I am in my late 30s. Any other questions? Let's see. I think those are all the questions, at least that I see. Let's see. We got a few here on this page. The High Road asks if I've gotten into close encounters with pandas in China. Not in China, not in the wild. I think probably the coolest setup of pandas that I've been to in a zoo is the zoo in Taipei. The Uniplex asks how I just make 2 pancakes. How do I just make 2 pancakes? So the mix that I use, I buy from Costco. It's called Kodiak cakes. It's a just add water kind of mix. And so I put a little mix in a measuring cup. I add some water. I mix it up just to get 2 pancakes. I start with the bacon. Once the bacon's cooked, makes the griddle greasy enough, make 2 pancakes, and then toss the egg on. All right. Adventures by Talk wants to know if I can give his brother Jaden a shout out. Hey Jaden, thanks for watching. I think you got a cool brother there who wants a shout out for you. Brian says, I assume you get lots of comps for travel due to your YouTube status. I would not say lots of comps. We don't try to throw it around. I think that's really weak. Like, we don't email hotels and this and that and say, hey, we want to stay in your hotel for free. We think that's kind of weak. But if people say, hey, Chris, would you come here and maybe we'll discount it or make a video? And if people say, hey, Chris, can you make a video here? And it seems like a cool place that we might want to go anyway, then maybe we do, and maybe something is comped. But it would never change what we say about it or what we think about it. And actually, there have been people, for reviews, people say hey, Chris, we'll send you this thing for free if you'll review it. And I say, okay, only on one condition. If I don't like it, I'm actually not going to make a review of it because I don't even want to waste all of your time with a product that's not good. And so I say, you can send it to me, but if I don't like it, then I won't make the review of it. So that's one of my things for doing review videos of stuff that people send. April Adams, if I prefer the Shake Shack or the Habit, I like both. At the Habit, I like the Santa Barbara style burger, which they take sourdough bread, they grill the sourdough bread, they also put avocado on the burger and grilled onions. It's pretty good. If I had to pick one, I would pick Shake Shack. B. James asks if I have any interest in space trips when it comes economical. It depends. If I could get to a place in space where you could see Earth from the perspective that astronauts have seen Earth, I think that'd be pretty cool. And I know OC Girl, she loves space things. We've done a lot of NASA trips and this and that, so she would enjoy that. Grant says, as a manger, if I'm also a good trainer for your team. I think you probably mean manager. Maybe that might be the spell check there. Trainer, maybe not the right word. Coach is a word I like to use more as a manager. I think I'm a good coach, but we'd have to ask them. Ricky says, I assume you're going to ramp up Yellow Productions products on Etsy and add hoodie, sweaters, etc. If there's a particular product that any of you want to see that you're I would buy it if it just was this, let me know and I will put it up there. My goal has not been to put up a gazillion things on there, but just things that I think are interesting and people want. Christina asks if I order from the regular displayed menu or the secret menu at In-N-Out. Yes. Double, no onions, extra everything, fries, and a drink is what I get. And the Real YT says, do you like Pink's hot dogs in LA? I like Pink's hot dogs, but I don't like the line at Pink's hot dogs. And the Uniplex says, thanks for the live stream. It's been a tough week. Thanks for watching, Uniplex. Thanks for the kind words, as always. Okay, well, with that, It is now time for us to bid adieu for the day. And as usual, but I won't say goodbye because you know why? I'm going to see you in the next video, the next live stream, which will be tomorrow, talking all about how I live stream. So with that, thanks everybody for tuning in. Keep exploring. See you tomorrow.